The Prominence Invasion continues. I am Chris with the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom February 1st, 2022, available on Stardom World. This show was the follow-up to the Great Nagoya Superfight show on the 29th of January. Storylines are starting to be set up for the time until the next batch of big shows at the end of March. And for the first time, a high-speed championship match headlined a Stardom show at Korakuen Hall. This was a single camera show with no commentary. The opening match was between Hanan, fresh off her title defense, and Saki Kashima, who came to the ring showing off her new gear. There wasn't really any story leading up to this match, but I appreciate that since she became the future of Stardom champ, Hanan has gotten more singles matches. Saki Kashima tried to get Hanan to drop her guard by offering a handshake pre-match. Hanan caught Saki though when she was about to attack her with her back turned and attacked Saki instead. That is when the match started. This was a match of two halves. Saki was mostly in command for the first half, and Hanan the back half of the match. Saki Kashima used chokes and boots as her weapons of choice, while Hanan relied mostly on submissions and drop kicks. Hanan had the advantage after she hit a second rope crossbody on Saki, but Saki's experience was the difference in the match. After a Hanan Rough Rider, it looks like that would be the end, but Saki's surprise was a Kishikaise pin for the win. The Kishikaise is much like Kaguma's side roll-up and is a finishing pin that is protected very well. Hanan's loss doesn't bode well for her future of Stardom title defense against Momo Kogo in the future though. The second match on the card was an 8-woman tag match, Stars vs Queen's Quest. The Stars team had Momo Kogo, Kaguma, Hazuki, and Mayu Iwatani against the Queen's Quest team of Izumi, Lady C, Saya Kamitani, and Utami Hayashishida. The real storyline for this match was between Momo Kogo and Saya Kamitani. There is a social media angle going on right now that Saya knows who the new secret Stardom wrestler will be, but Saya is bad at keeping secrets, and she told Momo who it was. That played in the beginning of the match. Momo Kogo came to the ring holding a blowhorn shaped like a peach. Momo is Japanese for peach, and using this blowhorn, Momo was going to yell something out, but Saya panicked and kicked her, which started the match. From there, a pretty fun but chaotic match followed like most 8-woman tag matches are. Each wrestler got to shine for a bit. After Lady C was isolated from Queen's Quest, Kaguma was able to win the match with her flying press for the pinfall win. Kaguma's flying press doesn't seem real when you see it. She goes so far. The next match was a tag match, Mina Shirakawa and Unagi Sayaka against the team of Thekla and Julia. This match continues the Mina vs Thekla feud, and I am fine with it. Their promos and interactions leading up to the Nagoya Superfight show was entertaining, and this tag match was entertaining also. Julia and Unagi started for their teams and traded holds and submissions before they both tagged out. Thekla then chopped Mina hard across the chest, which is something she did in their match before, and a couple more times throughout this match. This was a good match, and it looked like Julia was having fun slapping Mina or Unagi in the back to make a loud noise. Mina looks to have learned a few tricks since her match with Thekla on the 29th and countered Thekla's DDD attempt. Mina Shirakawa then followed that with a DDT and got the win with her special pin, the Glamorous Collection Mina. After the match, Mina got on the mic and says she still wants to fight Thekla again, so we may get a rematch for the SWA belt soon. Mina and Unagi then called out the current tag champs, Hazuki and Kaguma, came to the ring and agreed to give Mina and Unagi a title shot. That should be a good match. The second 8-women's tag match on the card was next, Ototai vs Donna Del Mondo. For Ototai we had Rina, Momo Watanabe, Ruaka, and Fukigen Death. Donna Del Mondo was Shuri, Himeka, Maika, and Mirai. This was a fun match, with less Ototai shenanigans than normal, and Ruaka's box did make an appearance in this match. Before the bell rang, Ototai attacked and there was some brawling outside the ring. Rina and Mirai got back in the ring and the match started proper. Donna Del Mondo showed off their strength while Momo Watanabe seemed a bit more vicious in the match, especially when she was in the ring against Shuri. A spot I found funny is when Himeka had Rina up in a torture rack and Ruaka calmly walked in the ring and hit Himeka with her box while the ref's back was turned. Rina and Himeka were in the ring for the end, and the strength of Himeka was too much for Rina. After a lariat and some help from Shuri and Maika, Himeka hit Rina with the JP coaster for the pinfall win. Prominence came to the ring after the match and demanded a match sooner than the agreed match on the next pay-per-view. It was agreed that the team of Akane Fuji, Risa Sera, would take on Shuri and Thekla at the next Kaioken Hall show. After the match was agreed to, there was a little bit of a brawl. That brings us to the main event, a high-speed championship match between the current champion, Starlight Kid, and challenger and returning Natsupoi. Natsupoi had been away from Stardom for a month while acting in a stage play, and this was her first match back. Starlight Kid and Natsupoi didn't shy away from the lights of the main event and put on a great match. While this was a high-speed match, they didn't go a million miles an hour the whole time. It was slowed down and felt like a heavyweight match at points. There was a chair spot, a lot of wrestling outside the ring, and a gnarly DDT on the apron that Starlight Kid took. There was still high-speed wrestling in the match for sections, lots of flips, kicks, counters, and punches. The longer the match went on, I realized what was happening. The announcer was counting down the time, Natsupoi and Starlight Kid were trading pin attempts lightning quick, but the clock ran out. Time limit draw, Starlight Kid retains. This was the first time limit draw for a high-speed match I have seen. After the match, the direction for a few things was settled. Natsupoi said she still wants to fight Starlight Kid and get a win, but will go after the white belt next. Starlight Kid's next opponent for her high-speed belt is Azumi, who she also considers her eternal rival. And Rina, Ruaka, and Starlight Kid also want a shot at the Trios belt on the February 21st show. This was a good show, and if you have limited time, I would really recommend you watch the high-speed title match. Starlight Kid feels like she has evolved past the high-speed belt scene, so I hope to see her go for the red belt or white belt this year, or better yet, win a Cinderella or 5-star tournament. The next Stardom show is on the 6th, but looks to be a smaller touring show. This has been the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom, February 1st, 2022. Thanks for listening.